Tonight is January 17, 2020. I had the pleasure to invite my daughter Jasmine Liu to share the topic healthy living, exercise, and eat well with me together. Welcome, Jasmine.
Hello.
Hi. So, what do you want to talk about healthy living?
I want to talk about the importance of it and then how to balance it with a really busy life, like in high school.
Yeah, that's very important. Why is that so important?
Well, a lot of the times, especially since I go to a boarding school, a lot of people can forget about living healthy and constantly worry about their grades, and then they push back being healthy, eating well, sleeping, things like that. So it's really important to remember to take care of themselves throughout the process.
Right. I also understand health, self care, the importance of that because for us, we have a very busy work life, family life. So self care is indeed very important. But how to do it? What kind of practice you adopted to make sure you have a healthy lifestyle?
Well, like at first, it takes a little bit of time to like adjust to it, and throughout you figure out different things. But like eating at my school is pretty difficult because the meal plan there is very limited. Like you don't have many options for fruits and vegetables, but we have a wellness class that it's mandatory for us to take, and we learn the amount of grains, starches, vegetables, and protein we need. And I realized the best way to reach all these is by bringing food myself. So over the weekends when I come back home, my parents, you guys like buy vegetables for me or like frozen packs of vegetables that I can microwave at my dorm and then eat them there. That way I can still get my nutrients even though it's really busy, and I still eat cafeteria food, but I also know I have food in my dorm, which is pretty good.
So nowadays, I adopt this Access 10. It's a program for me to lose weight, gain muscle. I didn't eat enough vegetable, so now every dinner and lunch, I have 300 gram of low GI vegetable, which means pretty much all the vegetables above the ground. There are some vegetable under the ground, like potato. Those are not considered. They're considered high GI with a lot of carbs. So I eat a lot of broccoli, the beans, green beans. So what do you think are the necessary amount of vegetable on a daily basis?
Well, normally I try to eat vegetables in every meal, like including breakfast. Sometimes that's more difficult, but maybe like um, if you don't have vegetables in the morning, I eat fruit at the same time. But like normally for lunch and dinner, I get a salad because salad bar is always available. But other than that, I eat like broccoli. A lot of the times they have beans because they're really easy to cook too. Sometimes they have like cooked spinach, things like this. Normally probably at least a cup. I don't really measure in grams because that's pretty difficult, but I can see like on the plate around a cup or more basically. But normally at least a cup each meal, or at least a cup of fruit or vegetables each meal.
Each meal, that's an important thing.
Yeah.
Let me get the cup. So, we are not so used to the measurement of a cup. Is this a cup?
Wait, I can get a cup. Okay. This,
This is the hot cup, right?
no, it's a cup.
Okay. Oh, so Jasmine, you just said you want to make sure every meal you have either 1 cup of vegetable or 1 cup of fruits. Okay, so 1 cup is like this. I didn't know. I'm not so used to the measurements of cup. But 1 cup, is that fresh vegetable or cooked vegetable?
So normally, like raw vegetables, when they're not cooked, they have much larger mass.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really apply for salads. Like for salads on the plate, it'll look like a lot, but
Right.
really when you cook them down, it might not even be a cup. So for me, when I'm talking about a cup, normally it's cooked vegetables,
Oh.
like because once they absorb the water, they shrink. But like salads, like a plate, I don't really measure raw vegetables by the cup because they're still, they don't really count yet because the mass is like
I
they
see.
shrink.
So, in your opinion, 1 cup of cooked vegetable every meal and fruits probably measure more by plate.
Yeah.
A plate of raw vegetable salads or raw fruits.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something I'll learn if I don't have the luxury of having my cooking skill to take everywhere. I can kind of visually see, okay, it's a cup of cooked vegetable. Okay, then what about other nutrient? For example, good fats and protein. We know the importance of vegetable and the fruits.
So, often in the cafeteria, we're served a lot of like pork and beef, which isn't always the healthiest to eat in terms of meat. But at the same time, we always have grilled chicken. So there's not a lot of fat in it because it's not fried. And so what I do with the chicken is I like cut it into smaller pieces and I put it in my salad. That way, instead of just eating plain vegetables, you can add some flavor with the chicken, or I mix it with like vegetables or rice and things like that. But mainly at my school, most of my meat sources are just chicken. We're rarely served fish, but when we're served fish, it's always fried, so it automatically reduces your nutrient levels. So I normally prefer to eat chicken because it's easy to cook and it's pretty healthy.
Right, and recently I also learned to get those frozen vegetable in a bag. It's I have to still confirm, but it seems to be they prepare them fresh, so there's no additives, there's no chemical, and it's very easy to prepare because they just put the bag in the microwave for 5 minutes and then you let it sit for another minute. And then I will take your idea of having some type of cut chicken or fish and mix them together. That's a good meal rather than I do stir fry, right? Okay, that's very good. Then what about water? I think water is very important. I realize I don't drink enough water. How much water do you drink in a day?
So, at the beginning, I would always forget about water because most people forget about water because you don't think of it like, you know you need water, but you never remember to actually, wait, let me take a second and drink it. But I started just every morning, I would fill up a bottle of water. It's
what kind of bottle?
really easy to fill up. When I leave my dorm, I leave like a minute early, fill it up, and then put it in my backpack in the side and like go. And what I try to do is like, there's these little ticks on my bottles, and what I do is after one class I want to drink at least down to one of these ticks. So that way I fill this water bottle at lunch, I fill it up once, after school I fill it up once, so I'll drink like 3 of them.
Seriously?
Like sometimes it feels like you're forcing yourself to drink water, but like I know it's better for me that way. So like sometimes maybe I haven't even started drinking to the tick at class, so I just drink it all at once. But like honestly, I think it's pretty good because before when I wouldn't drink as much water, like your skin can break out, or like when you work out, you get really tired really quickly.
I see.
And when I work out, I don't really like to drink water because when you're doing like high cardio, you can feel the water in your body like jostling out. Like that's not a good feeling.
Squishing in your
so
stomach.
you drink your water like at least like 30 minutes an hour before you work out. Just like in cross country, they always suggested you throughout the day drink water, not right before. So that way when you work out, you still can like you can still stand without feeling lightheaded because you're hydrated before.
I see. My problem is if I drink water, I have to go to bathroom. So how many in a half day session? How many times do you have to go to bathroom?
Okay, so in between classes we have 5 minutes. So normally you have to walk across the building. So I don't always have time to go in between. Normally it's morning and then midday, so around 12, lunchtime when I fill this up again. And then after school, right before the gym.
Oh, so, that's not too bad.
So it's manageable, basically.
Right. Basically, your meal time, your break time. I just don't want to rush 3-4 times in my morning session. I have to keep up with the flow. Okay.
And then, like, another thing I made sure was I used to have bottles that were, like, heavy tin bottles that were this tall and looked like they could fill a lot of water. But basically, it's so insulated that it can only fill like half of this.
Right.
So you're like cheating yourself. You think you're drinking the entire bottle, but you're really not drinking that much water.
Right. So you really get 64 ounces at least pure water, not including the fruits, the vegetables in the day. Wow. Maybe if I can do one of this 32 is already improvement. I kind of feel sometimes when I get dehydrated, I get a little bit of annoyed and irritable, and that's the feeling. Okay, so that's something very good to learn. Then what about how do you know what food to avoid?
Well, like there's never like a rule book that you follow, like you can't eat this, this, and this. But generally, like there's a few like ideas, like don't eat that many fried foods, not like for example, when I get a salad, I remember maybe not get too much dressing, because in a salad, what's highest in fat would be your dressing. Or like we have a grill bar, so it's sometimes it's tempting to maybe get a basket of fries, but you just have to like kind of know certain things, what's in them. Like some have so much sugar in them. Maybe avoid white bread or extremely sugary foods, jams on your breads. Like there's always alternatives to them. So instead of maybe putting jam on a white piece of bread for breakfast, maybe put almond butter, peanut butter on a piece of whole wheat bread. So just like always healthier alternatives if you're craving a little something unhealthy.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I realized that after I have a lot of healthy, good food, I don't really crave for those things that people think, oh, I die for it, I'm so craving for things. You know, I really, after I eat a very good meal, I have my blueberry, then I feel so satisfied. I don't really want to think hard to try to get something. That's not no longer a reward mentally.
Well,
that's
like sometimes when you really want like that chips or like the donut, you're before that you're like, you know what? Let me first eat my alternative.
Yes.
Let me see if I'm still hungry afterwards. And most of the time, almost all the time, you're not hungry after you eat that.
Right.
So you just avoid it.
And also the emotional component. I'm so lucky that in a family like you led this healthy living. I think you introduced avocado and almond milk, almond butter, and that's really make me learn about those choices. I think recently you have something kombucha, or what is it?
Kombucha.
Tell me about it a little bit.
So kombucha, I've heard of before, and I drank it once when we bought it for a party, and it just tasted disgusting 3 years ago. But then at IMSA, it's like a really big culture. Like a lot of people drink kombucha, and I never knew why. I was like, it's disgusting. I drink it, and it tastes like spoiled milk, you know? And then, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it another try. So then one night I decided to like research like kombucha, because I always heard it had alcohol in it. I was like, okay, I can't be drinking that. But there's different types of kombucha. There's raw, and then there's synergy, there's mixes. So raw was the one I drank 3 years ago, where it has like 1% alcohol in it, because it's natural.
I didn't know you drink alcohol then.
Because it's natural fermentation.
Oh, okay.
That's why it tasted so bad to me. But then synergy is like half. It's mixed with fruit juices, and it's not like the artificial fruit juice. So there are natural fruit juices in them, at the same time mixed with the fermentation. So the alcohol level is little to none. So I was like, I'm gonna give a try to this one. So we went to like the local store and we got like a bottle of it. And I tried it, and to me, it tastes like a healthier version of a soda. A lot of people who drink it like don't believe it. They're like, no, this tastes like vinegar. That's a very common thing that people think it tastes like. But honestly, I don't drink it on the daily, but I feel like if I'm really want to drink a juice or something like that, it's a healthy alternative, because it's kind of like a cleanser at the same time. It's like ginger, things like that. A lot of antioxidants in it. And it's very low in sugar. On average, per bottle has like 4 grams of sugar, which really isn't that much considering how much.
I see. So, maybe we'll be toasting on kombucha rather than wine or beer or something. Now I'm on a relatively strict diet. I don't want to explore into any extra calorie. I just want to stick to my green vegetable and water, and I have a habit of a cup of black coffee a day, so I'm going to keep that. But that's good to learn. I think you guys are the youngsters that know all the trendy healthy stuff, so that's good. So we talked quite a bit about diet, eating habits. So what about exercise? You know, in the last 3-4 months, I adopted some new exercise routine, such as the weight bearing exercise, resistance exercise. I found it's very, very beneficial. It helped me boost my energy, metabolism, and help me sleep better. But I'm still a beginner. I'm making very slow progress. I think I dream to be able to do a pull-up. I don't know if in my lifespan I'll be able to do it. But share with me, you're always been very have a lot of lean muscle, very fit. So how do you see, what's your trick and how do you maintain that lean muscle mass?
So a lot of the times, like back at home, the gym, it was hard to go to because first of all, I can't drive. So it takes a lot of time to ask my dad to drive me back and forth to the gym. So that option was pretty limited. So coming to IMSA, like there's a gym that's always open most of the time. So I developed a routine to go at the end of the day. So after school, I would go straight to the gym. I wouldn't let myself go back to my dorm because I tried that. I tried going back to my dorm, changing, and then going back. But that process itself, I'd go back, get tired, eat a snack. That's like a 30-minute process. So I started just bringing my clothes, changing right after school, and then going into the gym. And then there were like so much equipment around me. I didn't know how to use any of it because I've never been to like a professional gym. So luckily my school has a trainer there, and his job is to be there for you and teach you how to use equipment. And at first it's a little intimidating, like not knowing what you're doing when everyone around you is like using the equipment like they've done it for years. So I asked him to give me like exercises, and the first day I was like, abs, I want to focus on that. So the first thing he asked me to do was, before you do any workout, you need a warm up. So high cardio. He asked me to do a rowing machine or row for 5 minutes, run half a mile, do the bike for 5 minutes, things like that to get your heartbeat going. And then after that, then we actually started the real workout with like my abs. What I noticed is I really enjoy workouts that are focused on just using my own body, like my own muscle weight, basically. I do use weights, but it's very minimal. Like the highest weight I'll go up to is 30 pounds, and that's
a lot for your weight.
Yeah, and that's for just like arms. I never really bench, so benching is like laying down and going like this, or squatting, because normally that's the bulk up. My goal for going to the gym was like to tone, lean muscle mass, you know? So the types of workouts he's starting to give me now are more depending on your own weight. So push-ups, like sit-ups, sometimes with weights, but very small weights, minimal weights. The only thing that I actually use weights on now are for my arms. And then legs, it's always like lunges, squats. I never do leg presses because that's a lot of strain on your muscles, things like that. So I don't really go overboard because I'm not trying to become like a lifter or anything like that. So I came into the gym knowing what I wanted to focus on and which muscle groups to focus on. Like it's kind of confusing because when you go in, there are so many things to do. You don't know what to focus on. But the second you know what your goal is, it's so much easier because you first need to decide, am I trying to tone my body, get lean, or am I trying to build muscle mass? Because they're two very different workouts. One of them is high cardio, running. One of them is lifting weights, benching, all these. So that's like the first thing I decided.
Right. Yeah, let me summarize a little bit. Quite a few very important points. One is the goal. I think we're all ladies. We like have a tone, very nice curve, and but with the muscle, with a lot of exercise tolerance, and with a good cardiopulmonary function. Those are good. So when you do the prep, the warm up, when you run, how many miles per hour do you run for a half mile?
So for that half mile up to a mile normally, it's pretty fast. Like I like to start maybe a minute of slow jogging, but then I get it up like almost to my max. So I'm trying to get my heartbeat up as high as possible, as fast as possible. So basically once I'm done, I'm like panting and kind of
Okay.
tired.
You mean 7-8 miles
Yeah,
per hour?
like 7 miles per hour, 8
Okay,
miles per hour.
okay. I get it because when you do the cardio, almost like HIIT, the high intensity,
it's
you
like
want
a
to
burst.
quickly
Yeah.
get your heart rate high, and then so get your muscle warm, ready for the resistant exercise. And when you focus on, I get your point of more using self weight, but for me, I think I want to lose weight, build muscle. So
Yeah.
I do need to use some weight
Yeah.
because I feel using weight can train your muscle step up. If
Yeah.
you do the self weight, then you have to do more repetition.
Yeah.
That will take a little longer time. So in my exercise routine, it's mostly 15 repetition for one exercise, immediately followed by another. That's called superset, and I do that three. After one set, I rest for 1 minute, and then repeat it 3 times. And then there are only 4 groups of this exercise each session. So how was your reps and how many types?
So how I would do it is I don't really have a cycle that I rep. It's I do one movement 15 times. I rest 30 seconds, and then I do that 3 times. So 3 reps of 15.
Yeah.
On average, every workout or exercise I do is minimum 10, maximum 20. And then on average 3 reps of it. And then after I do those 3 reps, then I have maybe a minute break. So that's how I do it. It's a little different from yours where you do 3
Superset.
Yeah,
I think
superset,
that-
you
right.
know. And then that's how I
But how many? See, for me, I do 4 supersets, total of 8 type of motion. So how many type of exercise you do in one day?
So on average, probably 8 to
Oh,
8
very
to,
similar.
but they're all very like the trainer at my school, he purposely makes all 8 extremely different workouts. Like 1 second I might be using weights to do sit-ups, and the next second I'll be on a yoga ball making circles.
Right.
Like they're all very different,
Right.
but they all like focus on one area.
Yeah, I think that's the point, because for my exercise, I have on different days they kind of have a focus of a push or pull, because you don't want to just keep exercising the biceps, not doing the triceps. You want to make sure throughout the week you cover all the muscle groups, right? So that's a very important. It's very lucky that you guys have a trainer, because they can plan what's your required muscle, rotate them, and then maybe they can help you even customize for your weak muscle.
Yeah, he has. So after you go a certain number of times, he builds your own workout plan. Like in his desk, he has the files, and he pulls up yours, and he writes, okay, last time you were working on your back. Now this time let's work on arms. And then he writes out a workout plan. You read it, and then you just go back and forth, and you go to work.
I see. And have you seen any improvement? Because for me, I see when I started, I have the small little 3 pounds waist, and now I graduate to 5 pounds, and quickly 5 pounds become 8, and I'm between 8 to 10 pounds for upper extremity. For lower extremity, if I do squats, I can use even 30 or so weights. So what have you seen your progression yet?
So my progression that I see is like I do it with much more ease of certain exercises. Like I used to do leg lifts at an angle, so my body would be slanted and I have to lift my legs. And after 2 sets of 20, my legs would feel so heavy. But now I can do 2 sets of 20 and still be fine, and then get through my 3 sets. Or I can do increased weights with my arms, like curl ups. I can do with more weights and do more reps.
How much weight do you use for curls up?
For curl ups, around like 30, 35 ish. And then
30?
Yeah, like this, because curl ups are the easiest for me.
But each hand you hold a 30 pounds weight?
Well, that's because my bicep is my strongest.
Oh my
muscle.
god! No wonder I couldn't do full up. I only do a 10. I already feel like
because in my arms, my triceps are the weakest and my biceps are the strongest. So when I do these, I can only do like 15.
What is this called?
I
only know the Chinese name.
Like
侧展臂 in Chinese.
Like Yeah.
side swing or something?
I don't really remember the name right now, but my triceps are the weakest part, but I can see how they're improving. Like I can add more weight, do more reps with much more ease.
I see. When with us, we have those adjustable weight dumbbells, but it's impossible. They're so bulky. I'll be like,
and like I feel they're always jingling when I'm doing them.
Right.
I'm afraid of a weight falling down.
So in your gym, you have that very small.
Like in our gym, there's like a rack of different. So it goes like they have weights of like 3 pounds, 5, 8, 10.
But 15. Even for 30 pounds, they're relatively small volume. They're not really bulky for you to hold.
No, they're not. They have like a
50 Take a picture.
Yeah,
Next time I will buy that type because I realize it's too big for me to.
It'll take up more room because you'll obviously need more weights, but it's much more comfortable than like this big for 10 pounds.
Yeah, I think that's the limit. I mean, it's very convenient, but you know, as I'm growing into a pro, I want my workout equipment to be pro level. Okay, that's very good to learn. Then what do you think about the balance between cardio and means aerobics and weight bearing?
So, aerobic exercises I do actually every time I work out. No matter what I'm focusing on, even when I'm doing arms, I'll still do aerobic exercise. I'll always run every time I work out, before and after. I just feel like it's really good because instead of just sitting and stretching, it helps me just relax all my muscles. I don't have to be running 7 miles per hour. I can just jog, and it helps my body, like with my heart rate lifts it up too, and it at the end of a workout, just jogging just soothes all your muscles for me. And I always think it's a good balance between aerobic exercise and anaerobic because the balance is 1 second you're doing high intensity really fast, and the next second you have a time to break apart and like relax. And running tones your body too. It exercises almost all the muscles in your body at the same time, which is really helpful, and it's just a really good thing to do, running.
Right, that's also my recent learning. I read an article at New England Journal of Medicine. I'm still reading through that. It says aerobic exercise really improve your cardiopulmonary reserve. There's measurements called O2 max, just means how much oxygen you can exchange. That's a very cognitive measurement. And the resistant exercise will exercise your neuromuscular adaptation, make you more balanced and have more strength. But there is a balance. You need both. You need the benefit of both. But there's some controversy that if you don't combine them right, they may be contradicting. I mean, it's how you feel. How much time, how long is your exercise session, and how do you divide the time between the two type of exercise?
Every time I go to the gym, I want to go a minimum of 45 minutes, and on average, I go an hour. Probably about 20 minutes of it is spent running, so I'll probably run like 2.5 miles on average every time. So 1 mile when I start, and then at the end, I'll run like 1.5 miles. And normally the ending mile isn't that fast. It's just like a 4 or 5 miles per hour pace, but my first mile is going to be like 7 miles per hour, because that's me getting up my heart rate. And then the last mile and a half is just cooling down, resting, and things like that.
I see. And how many, pretty much 5 days a week, because you spend 5 days in school?
So like currently, right now, because I'm dancing a lot for the next show and I have to choreo and help with that, I'm doing a lot of like an hour of dance a day, and then I go for like 45 minutes to the gym. But generally I try to go at least 4 times a week, because Wednesdays are one of my busiest days. Even though I don't have school, that's when all the teachers push their homework to you doing it on Wednesday. And also gym hours are different for our school on Wednesdays. They're normally at night, so always at night I have things to do. But when I can, I do try to work out for at least 5 days.
I see. 4 to 5 days. But for me, I think I would push myself to do something every day, because if I start to pick days to take off, I always have excuse. Oh, this is my off day. You'll be having off days every day, right? And it's always good a habit to make. It's like you need to drink water every day, go to bathroom every day. So if you have a good routine, yeah, so that's very important. What about stretching? I feel stretching is very important, especially for ladies, because we want to have good posture. We want to be very flexible.
Yeah.
So how do you incorporate that into your routine?
So when I did gymnastics, we used to stretch for like 20 minutes, like 30 minutes. You needed to stretch or else you get injured. For working out, it's the same general idea, but it's not to the same, like, it's not as extensive. So before I run, I might do 5 minutes of just like standing, stretching my legs out. I might get a mat, like stretch my back, arms, things like that. And then in the end, after I run, 5 minutes. But just like 10 minutes normally. I don't really spend an excessive amount of time on stretching per se, because stretching doesn't really like help you grow muscle or tone your body. It's more to like make sure you don't injure yourself, don't tear a muscle, things like that. So 10 minutes.
Right, but I'm setting a goal of getting the split. So whenever you have a goal, you're motivated to do a certain set of exercise and trying to make progress. And there's a motion, I have to get my legs this way. And I hardly can do it. Then now I can get my legs very close to my body. And I feel very achieved. Do you feel when you stretch? I actually feel after 45-50 minutes workout, after stretch, I feel my legs are so wide range. It's like
every time after I stretch when I'm done working out, I feel like my body's like a silly band. Like everything can go this way and that way. And then I walk down the stairs and my legs are like so soft. Definitely after workout, your body, all your muscles feel loosened.
I really appreciate your input on how to do this, and especially interest. We can share the same interest, and we can think about how do we optimize our health. There are many areas we can learn. For example, mental health, how to manage stress, how to feel inspired. I started doing meditation, and there's also sleep health, hygiene. Today, I think we already learned a lot. We learned from you how to maintain a good eating habit, even in a boarding school, how to maintain an exercise routine.
In general, like eating healthy, working out is not a lot of people try to do like a very short term, like I'll go on a diet, I'll work out every single day, I'll restrict my calories for 2 weeks, and then I'll lose 10 pounds, and then I can go back to my regular. But normally, it's basically like an entire lifestyle change. You want to just do everything in moderation, basically. So it'll take time, but you want to change your lifestyle, not change your next 2 weeks. So
wow, this is amazing. I'm sure my subscriber will really enjoy the expert opinion. And this is the new generation. It's not that I'm trying to advocate my kids. This is so amazing. Okay, thank you very much for sharing this interesting discussion with me. And if you have any question, feedback, please put it below in the comments. See you next time. Bye.